Hi everybody, it's Claire from Handmade at Hudson's, and this is the project we're going to be making today. So this apparently is called a bookbinding fold, who knew? And I have been playing with the words of cheer stamp set. And you'll notice that I've used this quite a lot in my examples. So I tend to try and use a stamp set and use every single stamp in the stamp set on different cards. So I have been playing with that or this stamp set outside of my videos and decided to play and create one of these. So apparently this is a bookbinding fold. I've seen them loads of times on different Facebooks and YouTubes and Pinterest. Never knew how to make it until I watched a gorgeous video from an American demonstrator on YouTube called Stamp by Stamp Creations. And they actually had an exploding card. So when you open this up, it exploded. I thought I'd just go for simple today, as I have a cold. Fortunately, it's nothing more sinister, apart from I'm not amusing my partner because he picked it up when he went out on a day out last week. And so I do apologise if my voice isn't amazing as well. So this uses the Words of Cheer stamp set. I have got some silver embossing powder, which is stunningly gorgeous, isn't it? I have got the Gross Grain Highland Heather ribbon, the Highland Heather card, and then I've got Whisper White card and Highland Heather ink on the inside. And then I have also coloured in the flowers on this one. And the way that I've coloured in the flowers is with a silver metallic marker pen, which is from Home Bargains. And so it comes in a number of different colours, and there's gold as well, but I'm not sure where my gold's gone. All I did was take my marker, decide which bit needed to be coloured in, and just added that to my embossing. And I think that looks quite, beautiful. And then I have just added the silver metallic pearls, which are one of my favourite accessories or embellishments in the catalogue. And as I said before, I do think that it's good to use the embellishments in multiple ways. So we're going to change it up for the next card, and I'm going to heat emboss in gold. So I have got a piece of card which is the full length of A4 by 10.5 centimetres, and I'll put the measurements in below. I have scored it here at 18.3 and here at 14.8, and again I'll put it down below, and I'll also put it in inches below as well. And I'm just going to fold my card over on that one, and then for this one I'm going to fold my card back. So that's how we're making the bookbinding fold. And then at this point, if there is any problems with your card, you can cut off the excess pieces and make it look more pretty. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss before I put the ribbon on. So the way I'm going to do that is I have got my stamps which are sticking here. So I have got my big stamp on my E-block, and I have got my Season's Greeting on a block that came from a kit, which is about the same size as a D block. I think it's a D block, yeah. So I've got my sentiment on the inside, and they're about much for muchness size. So you can use your stamping, any stamping platform. It doesn't have to be blocks. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am just going to add embossing buddy. So add some powder on here to stop the embossing powder sticking to any bits that I don't want it to stick to. And then I have got my Versamark ink here, and I'm going to stamp up my image first, and I'm going to tap my Versamark, which is just watermark stamp pad, so any sort of pad will do. And we're going to put this towards the top on this one because I'm going to put my sentiment underneath. So I'm going to hold and push down. So you just want to make sure that you've held it down for at least 20 seconds. And then I'm going to lift that up. And hopefully, yep, I've got an image all over the stamp. And then I'm going to take my Season's Greetings. And I'm going to add Versamark to that as well. And I'm going to stamp that down here. So I've decided not to heat emboss this separately this time, just because I find it easier to just have one layer and not play with the sentiment. Okay, so I've got my image and my sentiment, and I'm going to take just a piece of scrap paper which I have down here. Let's move this out of the way. And I am going to add my gold embossing powder to this. So I'm going to hold it flat. And I knew I should have got a big piece of paper. I'm just going to add a bit more there and then tap it down again. So I'm going to pour this back into the container and get it everywhere. And then I am probably just going to brush this bit away. Let's find a brush. Okay, so I've got a bit of a tidier desk now. And then, so this bottom bit here, I am going to get rid of because I don't want it on my card. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is blow it away, which seems to have worked quite well. The next thing you can do is tap it away. You just don't want to make sure that you don't tap too hard. And then if there's still a little bit at the bottom, just take a brush, any brush. So I tend to use a brush that I got in, I think it's either Home Bargains or Poundland, and it's a nail art brush. And you can just simply brush away any excess gold powder that you don't want. And then you can get rid of this piece of paper and get rid of any gold powder. And don't do a me, please put your lid back on properly. So this is some retro powder that I have. It currently comes in different groups, I think metallics and maybe essentials, but it doesn't matter, you can use any embossing powder. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat set this. So you might want to turn your sound down. So the way I heat set is to heat up my embossing tool. And then I'm going to bring in my embossing tool. And I am going to hold it over my embossing powder until it starts to melt. Now I did make a boo-boo with this embossing tool, which was I did think that it was 2 speed, but it's not, it's 1 speed. There are lots of different embossing tools on the market. Only you can get the Stampin' Up one, purely because actually at the time, actually let me just lift that up, that I was buying this, they didn't have any in stock in Europe. Otherwise I may have bought one. And I'm just going to flip over just to make sure that it is all dry. put that somewhere that isn't going to set fire or anything. Okay. Right. So we have got our embossing powder done. We've got that heat set. Now we're ready to carry on with the rest of your card. So I am going to take my ribbon, and I have got the gorgeous Just Jade braided ribbon. And I'm now going off piece because I haven't really planned this out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And I just need to get my ribbon scissors, which I think are these ones. I'm hoping that they're these ones. And they're not these ones. Okay, let's try these ones. We're just going to go through all the scissors. Nope, they're not even worse. I'm going to try all the scissors. Let's cut that off. Okay, so my plan is to use my permanent adhesive. So if you've got some fuse, use that. And I am simply going to add that to there, and then run this way and try and get that straight, and then add that there, and then I'm going to cut that off. So I'm not sure where my Seal Plus has gone. We are falling in love better than we were before because it went a bit wrong. Okay, so I'm then going to add more adhesive to either side of there, and then also onto there, because we want this to stick onto the other side really, really well. So I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to add pressure. And I might actually bring back my bone folder to ensure that that's really well stuck down. And then when we pull this out, I'm just going to finish that card as well. So we have our ribbon on our Just Jade card. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to add, and this is where I realised that we haven't actually done the inside of the card. So I've got a piece of paper which is 10 by 11.8, I think, but I'll put the measurements below. And I am going to stamp on that using the Wishing You a Joyful Christmas and my Just Jade stamp set, or stamp pad even. So we've got Wishing You a Joyful Christmas. And it's not straight, and we've got a bit on top. So let's turn it over and try again. Make sure there's no bits on it this time, and that we've inked it up properly, and making sure there's no bits on it. So there we go. And then you're just going to take your glue, whichever one you like. So you could actually use your seal again if you want to, and I've just realised that this one isn't working very well. Let's try this one. It's better. So I'm just going across the middle, down the sides, and that's probably far too much glue. And then I'm just going to add that on the inside, like so. And if it needs a bit of titivating, you can do that. Oh, it's there. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to tie something on the side of here. So I think I'm just going to go for a bow. Sorry, a knot again. So go for a knot. Let's move it up. Let's take my scissors to cut that off. And then I'm just going to cut this side off and make it look a little bit more pretty. And you can play with that a bit more than I have. Let's move, oh, avalanche! Move these out of the way. And there we have my original and my with Highland Heather and Silver and my gold one. And I've just actually remembered that I haven't put any dots on. So I'm going to bring out my metallic pearls and my Take Your Pick tool and just add these randomly. To my card. And there you go, card finished. So thank you very much for playing the video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe by clicking the button below and also ringing the bell so that you know when I next post a video. So I hope this has inspired you to pull out your stamps, embossing powders and ribbon and create some really quite simple, gorgeous fun fold cards to send to people for Christmas or birthdays, etc. Thank you for pressing play on the video. I hope to speak to you soon. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I am off to play with some more of this gorgeous, gorgeous embossing. Bye.